Hey food friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make Salisbury steak and potatoes in a beefy tomato onion gravy. This is one of those classic meals that just fills you up and is so comforting. It's going to be juicy and moist. My main ingredients includes 1 pound of ground beef, 1 onion, 10 small potatoes, 1 egg, breadcrumbs, tomato paste, and onion flakes. This is the best price I could get for ground beef this week, and I'm going to stretch this meat by adding breadcrumbs. I want to make 4 servings out of this, so I'm going to add a whole cup of breadcrumbs. It might seem like a lot, and this is unseasoned breadcrumbs, but I'm going to make this breadcrumbs taste like beef by adding 1 tablespoon of beef bouillon concentrate. Add pepper. If you don't have the concentrate, you can add beef bouillon powder or 1 beef bouillon cube crumbled up. I add 1.5 tablespoon of dried onion flakes. When absorbed, it'll add more bulk and flavor to this mixture. After adding your egg, mix everything together, and I'm just using my hand because the masher isn't doing a great job. So you want to mix and knead this so everything is nice and incorporated together. This was a bit too dense for me, so I just added a splash of cream. You can add water, of course. Once your mixture is nice and pliable, make 4 balls and then flatten them so they look like these. I remember the first time I had Salisbury steak was in a TV dinner, and it tasted like nothing I've ever had before. The combo of a ground beef patty and gravy is really tasty. Form your Salisbury steaks by flattening them and shaping them into an oval shape. I'm using bacon grease to fry my Salisbury steaks in, but you can use any type of cooking oil. I'm just using 1 heaping tablespoon of bacon grease on medium heat. Use a spatula to keep them from sticking to each other. While they brown, chop your onions into little rings, and after about 3 to 4 minutes, give these a flip. After a few more minutes, all of your sides should be nice and browned, and I'm going to just remove this from the pan. These already look delicious on their own. This is a 1-pot meal, so I'm going to continue cooking in my 4-liter deep skillet. Try to separate all the onion rings. Once your onions are soft and has a nice color, remove them and place them on your steak heads. It's time to make the roux for the gravy. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of white flour to this pan and just mix it all together. And this is going to be the base of the gravy. This is going to be what thickens everything in this dish. And this was a bit too dry for me, so I'm just going to add a tablespoon of olive oil instead of more bacon grease. You want to form this nice paste, but don't burn it. Keep stirring constantly until it looks like this. Now add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and this will give it a really nice flavor and color. This is a pretty fast process in getting the roux done. We're going to mix everything really well together here. And then I'm going to add beef bouillon. That's about 1 teaspoon. And the combo of the tomato and beef together just makes such a great flavor, and it always complements each other. I added about half a cup of water, and then I just mix everything together to make sure we form a nice smooth paste. Be sure to scrape any bits from the bottom as well. Now add 1 full cup of water. Whisk everything together for a couple minutes until all the lumps are out and this is nice and smooth and velvety. This part is optional, but I am adding a sprinkle of garlic powder for extra flavor, and I did decide I want to add some black pepper at this point and 1 teaspoon of herbe de Provence. Since this is a beefy tomato gravy, adding herbs in there will complement the tomato flavors really nicely. Add 1 more cup of water and place your potatoes in. Drizzle another teaspoon of beef bouillon concentrate into your pot and mix everything together. You'll notice I didn't use any salt, and that's because the bouillon does have plenty of salt in it. Go ahead and add your meat and onions to your pot. Make sure everything is somewhat submerged in the gravy and let this come to a nice gentle boil just on medium heat. Once that happens, cover and cook for several minutes. After several minutes, move your potatoes around just to make sure it's cooking evenly, and then cover and cook. Since I opened a large can of tomato paste, I have a lot left over, and what I do with my leftover is I put it in a Ziploc bag and I freeze it, and then when I need it, I just break chunks of it off from the freezer and it can last for months in there. After a total time of about 12 minutes of cooking, you can see that the liquid has absorbed and thickened, and the breadcrumbs in the steakettes have plumped up from that gravy. I checked my potatoes, but they're not quite fork tender, so I'm just adding a cup more water, and I'm going to cook this for another 5 minutes or so until my potatoes are fork tender. This is what you're looking for. You want your fork to go right through that potato without any issues, and that's how you know you have a perfectly cooked potato. Turn off heat and let it cool down a bit. Look how amazing these onions look in this gravy. Salisbury steak was once considered a poor man's food, but I actually find it quite luxurious, especially when you make it in such a rich, velvety gravy filled with great flavors. This recipe makes 4 servings, and with all of the ingredients, it was about $12 or maybe a bit under, so each portion is about $3 each. I added some cracked black pepper to this before serving. Look how perfect and creamy those potatoes look on the inside, and this meat is just so fork tender and juicy. There's something so comforting about potatoes and gravy as well. This meal was so delicious. Give this recipe a try and go feed yourself. Thanks for watching.